Welcome to our LIO project webinar series. LIO, or Legal Innovation and Operations, is a project run by CLOC recognizing thought leaders in the legal industry who are breaking the boundaries on the business of law by innovating how we add value to clients and our internal stakeholders. I'm Jen McCarran. I'm on the board of directors at the Corporate Legal Ops Consortium, and I head the legal ops function at Netflix. Today, we're recognizing Koenig, Olsner, Taylor, Schoenfeld, and Gaddis, otherwise known as KO, a law firm based out of Denver and Boulder, Colorado, for their thought leadership. I'm joined by Ben Olsner, founding partner of the firm, and we'll be talking today with Ben about a contracts management service built and scaled by KO for a client. Hi, Ben. Welcome to the webinar.
Hi, Jen. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Ben, can you give us an overview of the problem you and KO set out to solve and a bit about the solution?
Initially, one of the innovations that we had started to initiate was a commercial contract subscription service. We as lawyers basically provide legal services to people, but we're one slice of the contracts process. And we realized that our clients they could use some additional help with regard to mainly just the operations and the contracts management. I'm a friend of Bill Moos, and we had talked a little bit before about some of the things that he thought that legal departments and law firms should do. And so one of the things we tried to do was just set up what would be a solution that we could provide to our clients that were kind of outside the scope of our traditional legal services. I worked with him a little bit to figure out what that might be, and we decided, well, let's start a contracts management service where we're going to basically hire a couple of contracts managers, like people that had worked in-house, and then try to provide a solution to our clients to help them get better organized. What we decided was that it really wasn't a technological solution. It was really going to be more of a people solution for us. And so what we tried to do was set up a process where we would introduce ourselves to our clients, figure out like kind of where they are in their development, I guess, like whether they were a startup or a growth company, help them figure out what they needed to do to get better organized so that they could make their contracts process a lot better.
Makes a lot of sense. So contract management, as we know it from different sides of the ecosystem, it's a saturated market. There is a lot of tech out there, a lot of promise. And I think what I've seen, it turns to a lot of, or could turn to a lot of fatigue and just trying to deliver on the promise and that utopia for the users. I'm wondering, how did you guys make the decision to go after this market?
One of the needs we felt our clients had was that either they didn't know what they should be doing with regard to contracts management because they didn't know the value of it. If they did know about it, they didn't really know where to turn, right? So there's so many technological solutions out there. It's really hard for clients to figure out what should they implement and how. We hired Andrew Pilicki, who was a contracts manager at in-house in a few places, and that's what she did. She essentially, at the places she worked, figured out what her company needed and then, basically created RFPs and then did the process of going through and talking to the different vendors and figuring out what the best solution was for her particular company at the time. And we thought that would be really valuable for our clients. Most of them don't have any in-house legal at all. They have no lawyers inside, and they certainly don't have any legal operations people for the most part. So we go in and try to help them figure out what they should do. And sometimes that's not a technological solution at all because they're not ready yet.
So it sounds like there was an RFP going on. There was a strategic hire made for someone who's pretty seasoned in this space, an RFP for a solution going on. What else was involved in this exploration process from the firm management perspective?
One of the problems that law firms has is they're not very amenable to change and innovation, right? So we've always been a firm that's really tried to be a little bit more innovative than most of our competitors. Deciding that we were going to do something new was probably the easy part. The hardest part in any kind of initiative like this is to actually get people to buy into it, and it's the whole change management process, right? When I talked to Bill before, he's consulted with a lot of law firms and legal departments, and they all thought it was a great idea if you could provide the service, but they just couldn't muster the kind of change in their systems to actually start providing the service. And since we were a smaller firm and he knew that we were innovative, basically it was me pitching to my partners and them saying, yeah, if you want to do it, go for it. And then getting some other people on board to start the process of like hiring Andrea and another contracts manager, and then basically trying to offer it up to our clients.
So I think one of the reasons you guys are being recognized is because it's quite a departure from this traditional law firm model. And I've seen other small, mid-sized firms doing the same. And I find it very refreshing and exciting to see how you guys are willing to make that pivot. How's it been at the firm? How did the idea go through the leadership at the firm level where you guys were departing from that traditional business model? And what's the cultural shift been like for you guys?
It's been difficult in some cases, right?
Yeah,
Because again, we do provide traditional legal services, right? And so you got to get people on board to kind of think a little bit outside the box about what
sure.
we can do, right? And so one of the discussions that we had was, look, our clients kind of need to do this themselves anyway, and they're not in a position usually to hire somebody at that point in time. So just like they may not be able to hire a lawyer to help them do the things that we do, why can't we provide something that is outside kind of the quote unquote traditional legal services? The culture at our firm is that we try to allow people to kind of do what they want to do, build their practice the way they want to practice and focus on the things they want to focus. And so, having that discussion with my partners, they were really amenable to saying, yeah, if you think this is really valuable, then let's go for it. And then, putting behind the resources to hire somebody and to do all that. I think they've realized that it's been really helpful. I mean, there's a lot of arguments for the return on investment of helping our clients get a lot more organized. We do two kinds of law, essentially, right? We do corporate, so we do formation, finance, M&A transactions, and we also do commercial, right? So the M&A people, they know that if their clients are a lot better organized with regard to their contracts and their processes, then it's going to make the process of an exit or an acquisition work a lot better for the client and make it easier for everybody. On that side of it, it was pretty easy to get the corporate partners on board. For the commercial partners, they already knew the pain because we deal with clients all the time that are having these problems. They're having a hard time like getting contracts negotiated. It's taking a long time. They don't know where stuff is. They don't know when things are going to renew. Those commercial partners were on board right away.
I want to hone in on a point I think you mentioned twice, and it really resonates with me. It's not always so evident at the client level as someone who's corporate in-house doing legal ops. It's not always so evident the value of building a contract operations service or either in-house captive or outsourcing or partnering with a firm like yours to manage the load, so to speak. How do you help the client define that value? How do you prove that value? How do you help them define pain points in this area that maybe they don't even know they have? They're just busy at startups wearing a million hats. They're just cranking out the NDA. How do you get in between them and that work that could come to the service and be optimized and start to prove that out?
Some of it depends on who the client is and who we're helping, right? If you have somebody that's a serial entrepreneur, they probably know the pain because they've had to deal with it a lot, right? So, but since we're commercial contracts attorneys, and that's kind of the usually the type of client that we're focusing on, they see the pain right now because what they see really is using lawyers to help them get deals done and how painful that can be in terms of the time it takes, the fact that they kind of feel like their lawyers are kind of a hindrance instead of a help. The two core things that we've always done in the past is we help create, good form agreements so that match up with the services, and then we help them negotiate those. And then on either side of that, the process of the intake process, and then, getting those deals closed, and then, having the contracts go in some place, and then managing the information that goes into those things. Those were kind of the extra legal things that once we started talking to them and telling them that there was a definite process that we could help them with, then it makes all the difference, right? Then it's a matter on their side of getting buy-in from their executive team to talk to us about how we can help them, and then the process for doing that.
These last couple of questions, Ben, are really around measuring the business impact. As you well know, legal operations loves measurement and adding value and building business cases for services, for solutions like we're talking about. How are your clients measuring business impact of these services that you're building together?
The first thing they see is the speed that contracts get done, right? So they have an idea about how long the contracting process takes. and they can immediately see based on the process they put into place, the time it takes from start to finish gets reduced significantly. I mean, we've had one client uplight, I think their statistics were 20% reduction in the time it took to get contracts done. That process in itself, especially because we all know that there's always time pressures to get deals done, especially at the end of calendar quarters, right? And the longer things take, the more expensive it is because it takes more legal time and things like that. So they can see it in their legal bills, they can see it in the number of deals and the volume and the amount of dollars they're getting. They're seeing the ability to, reduce the leakage in their contracts. They can renew these contracts. They know when they're coming up for renewal, so they can have those things renew. They can upsell, things like that. It can be tough, like with any kind of system you put into place to try to figure out the best way to measure the ROI. Sometimes you're trying to focus on actually doing the thing as opposed to like trying to measure it. Sure. But they do see a lot of things right from the very start. And then long term, they see it when they have an exit, right? Because if they're really organized, it makes their lives so much easier in the end, right? Because all their stuff is readily available and at their fingertips when they're trying to go through the whole acquisition process.
Sure, that makes a ton of sense. And more on the long term of it, once the service is live, it's kicked into place, we start going quarter over quarter, year over year, this becomes a new spend, right? That someone like me is going to be managing at your client site internally in the corporation. How do you help clients justify the investment in that ongoing way?
It does reduce their legal fees right off the bat, right? Because what we're charging for this reduces the amount of time that lawyers have to spend helping them get their deals done, right? So they see that right at the top. We also try to do some alternative billing arrangement where we do subscriptions, and so we can make the process a little bit better for them that way. The value that they see that we provide is that they see it on the bottom line with regard to the bills that they get. And if the bills do go up, it's because they're getting more deals done, right? So it basically creates these efficiencies that they didn't see before.
Music to the legal operator's ears is creating efficiencies. And thank you so much. Congrats on the recognition at KO, and keep us updated on how things evolve.
We will. Thank you very much. I mean, when we read the description of it, it was like, wait, this is exactly what we do, right? Yeah. So I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Hi, this is Andrea Policki, Contracts Manager at KO Law Firm. As you can probably tell, I'm speaking to you today from my home office, as our team does its part to help our community minimize the spread of the coronavirus. KO Law Firm is an innovative corporate and commercial law firm with an experienced team and a practical, efficient, business-focused approach. We were founded in 2003 on the philosophy that a different approach delivers better value. And over the past 17 years, we've found that our business-first approach stands out and truly helps companies of all sizes achieve meaningful business outcomes. Today, we're a 30-person team based in Denver and Boulder, Colorado, including 21 experienced attorneys, 3 paralegals, and 2 contracts managers. As a key member of KO's contracts management team, I have extensive experience both in-house and firm side. Before joining KO, I led legal operations and contracts lifecycle management for a variety of growing companies. Today, I serve as contracts manager for multiple clients here at KO.
Hi, I'm Dan Fredrickson. I'm a commercial partner at KO Law Firm. I work with companies ranging from early-stage startups to global corporations across a variety of industries. Before joining KO, I was general counsel for a venture-backed tech company. And today, I serve in the capacity as outside general counsel for many of our clients. In this role, we often serve as their primary legal contact for day-to-day matters and strategic legal decisions.
As businesses work to increase valuation, minimize costs, and better manage essential resources, we are seeing the most successful companies change how they use legal services by effectively operationalizing legal. Most notably, they are seeking assistance with their contracts lifecycle from a growing number of non-lawyer professionals and testing new alternative billing models so they can do more with less. Companies are also making decisions more quickly and with more real-time information than ever before, which means legal operations must evolve to be more responsive and avoid missing key opportunities or making decisions in the dark. All of these factors have combined to drive greater demand for effective and streamlined contracts management to better connect with business needs.
When you have limited in-house legal resources, you really do need to do more with less. And hiring a huge legal team typically isn't sustainable or realistic. But with these complex and nuanced matters, you can't just replace people with technology either. That's why in 2018, KO began promoting contracts management that was focused on three prongs: people, process, and technology. Our first move was to recruit Andrea as our very first contracts manager. Andrea had extensive experience as an in-house contracts manager and legal operations manager at several high-growth companies. She was perfect to lead the people element of our approach. With Andrea's experience and a second experienced contracts manager, Julie Salyer, we began building a comprehensive contracts management service that goes way beyond what's commonly being adopted in the legal industry, which typically consists of an existing system or implementing a communications tool. We uniquely tailor our services to create the right process for each client, integrating as an extension of an in-house legal team at larger organizations, or creating flexible programs that meet the needs of smaller clients that don't have in-house resources. Regardless of client size, use of technology tools vary widely, and we're able to be both smart and flexible in how we work with each organization, plugging into an existing ecosystem or suggesting new services and tools that the client may not have thought of. And of course, when a contract actually needs to be drafted or negotiated, we quickly pull in an attorney to handle the legal work.
As you've heard, we've implemented a very comprehensive contracts management service, and the results have already been impressive. In less than 18 months, we've begun serving as the outsourced contracts management partner for 8 clients across a variety of different industries. The work has been driven by everything from everyday contracts to key M&A and financing events, and in many cases, we are handling the day-to-day workload of one or more full-time employees. We have even helped the energy company LIO navigate hundreds of their contracts to meet Q4 goals. More than ever, LIO, like many other companies, needed to minimize expense volatility. As their growth accelerated, they considered whether to hire in-house counsel or additional in-house contracts managers, but neither of those solutions gave them the right combination of quality and control. So they hired KO to fill this need in the most seamless and flexible way possible. Again, combining people, process, and technology to deliver the greatest outcomes. All of our clients have seen major operation and business benefits, including deals that would have otherwise not have happened were finalized. They have saved time and money on their contracting processes while building better engagement and retention with their customers and partners. Processes have been streamlined, reducing the number of hours spent on contracts by an average of 20%, as well as 24% reduction in the average sales cycle. Proactive contracts management also makes companies who may be nearing an investment, an acquisition, or an exit to be more prepared for due diligence and more attractive to potential investors or acquirers. And all of this happens while limiting liability and improving legal compliance.
Larger companies with in-house teams have often relied on contracts managers. We've taken that model and made it accessible to companies of all shapes and sizes, regardless of whether they have in-house legal services. The lawyers do the legal work, and the non-lawyers do every other task that doesn't require a law license. The fact that we can support contracts management clients from anywhere is more relevant today than it's ever been, as our team continues to give clients full service support from our home offices across the region. By building out a true contracts management service with both lawyers and non-lawyers who are dedicated to the service, we are addressing the evolving needs of our clients who are operationalizing their legal functions and changing how they use legal services. This is a significant, innovative step beyond what many law firms are providing. KO Law Firm is committed to innovating to address the continuing evolution of the legal ecosystem. Serving as their outsourced contracts partners, we have saved our clients time and money, helped them close more deals, improved operational efficiencies, and reduced risk. KO has always taken a uniquely client-forward approach to everything we do, and our contracts management offering aligns with that ongoing mission. To learn more about our contracts management offerings, visit kofirm.com/contractsmanagement.